Hello everyone, welcome to the Academic Writing Clinic, where we guide students in turning confusing feedback into opportunities to help them succeed. I am your host, Sarah Blackett, and on today's episode, we have a letter from Kyle, a university student who recently completed an assignment on reasons for the shift towards universal secondary education in the Eastern Caribbean. Kyle's letter states, Dear Academic Writing Clinic, after spending an entire week of drafting, revising, and carefully editing my assignment, I was sad when I received feedback saying that my outline did not meet the requirements of a formal topic to sentence outline. Honestly, I thought I had done everything correctly. The examiner also highlighted the need for significant improvements in presentation, content, organization, and coherence. I am hoping that you and the panel can explain exactly what I did wrong. Sincerely, a confused student, Kyle. Well, Kyle, I hope you're watching because you are in luck. Today, our panel of academic writing specialists will carefully examine your outline, evaluate whether the examiner's feedback was justified, then recommend revisions that would transform the outline into a well-organized, coherent, and properly formatted topic-to-sentence outline, as well as demonstrate how to develop one of the body paragraphs using the tease strategy. Let's begin with our first expert on the panel, Kadian Waugh. So Kadian, tell me, looking at Kyle's outline shown on the screen, do you agree with the examiner's comments?
Hi, good night everyone, and thanks Diana for having me. So let's jump right into it. I have to agree with the examiner because Kyle's outline, as it is now, looks like a general essay outline and not a formal topic to sentence outline. And I can identify a few problems. So the first issue is a thesis statement. Kyle's thesis statement states universal secondary education is a situation in which all learners have access to and are obligated to attend secondary school. And this is just a simple definition. A thesis statement should do more. It should state the topic, it should state the writer's purpose, identify three major points, and it should also guide the essay. As you can see on the slide shown here, it shows Kyle's incorrect thesis and a better one. So a better thesis would be the shift towards universal secondary education in the Eastern Caribbean was driven by the need to uphold human rights, promote social equity, and respond to international educational commitments.
Yes, I see.
No, the other issue that I found with Kyle's essay are the body headings. What he has written are just topics and not topic sentences. So instead of just writing human rights, he should have written one major reason for the shift towards universal secondary education in the Eastern Caribbean was a need to uphold every child's right to education. Now, that within itself would be a complete sentence. The other issue that I found with the essay is the outline. The outline lacks consistency. So if you notice in paragraph 1, it has the explanation. And then paragraph 2 and 3 have the definition. And these should all follow the same pattern, right? The final problem that I see is that the conclusion includes recommendations. No, the essay topic only asks for reasons and not recommendations. So recommendations would introduce a new purpose. and the conclusion should simply summarize the three reasons and restate the thesis statement.
Thank you for your expertise, Kadian. Do you think you could show us what a proper outline should look like?
Absolutely. So as you can see on the slide, a proper topic to sentence outline should look like this. So you'd have the topic, and the topic would be reasons for the shift towards universal secondary education in the Eastern Caribbean. And the thesis statement, as I had mentioned before, the shift towards universal secondary education in the Eastern Caribbean occurred because governments sought to uphold children's right to education, promote social equity, and meet international educational commitments. Now, the introduction, 1, background information, 2, the importance of universal secondary education, and 3, the thesis statement. Now, the body for paragraph 1 would include the topic sentence, which would be one major reason for the shift towards universal secondary education was the need to uphold every child's fundamental right to education. And then you'd have the supporting points, which would be equal educational access, government responsibility, International Human Rights Convention, and then you will have your closing statement. For paragraph 2, topic sentence would be another important reason was the desire to promote greater social equity through equal educational opportunities. And the supporting points for this would be 1, reduce inequality, 2, equal opportunities, and 3, social mobility. Then you'd have the closing statement, the closing sentence, sorry. In paragraph 3, the topic sentence would be the final reason was increasing international pressure to achieve global educational goals. And our supporting points would be Millennium Development Goals, Sustainable Development Goals, and regional educational reform. And then you'd have your closing statement. And as I said before, the conclusion should restate the thesis statement, summarize all 3 reasons, and have your final concluding statement.
Thank you, Kadian. That was very informative. Let's move right along to our second expert on the panel, Edicia Oliver. Many students confuse the different expository methods. Could you tell us which method best fits Kyle's topic?
Thank you, Tiana, and good night. Just as many other students, Kyle was a bit confused about the method used for his paper. However, we can see that Kyle's paper identified 3 reasons for the shift towards universal secondary education in the Eastern Caribbean: human rights, social equity, and global educational pressure. Now, we know these reasons explain why government systems throughout the Eastern Caribbean would have chosen to introduce universal secondary education. Therefore, process analysis is not the appropriate method for this paper. This method of writing explains how something happens through a sequence of steps. The topic asked for reasons for the shift. And the word reasons here immediately signals to us that the causes should be identified and explained. Therefore, the most suitable method for this paper would have been cause and effect analysis. A cause and effect analysis explains why something happened. Kyle's topic asks for reasons and not steps. So once again, a cause and effect analysis would have been the correct choice of method.
Thank you very much for your input, Alicia. Now that we have the outline, how should Kyle write his introduction? Janique, can you shed some light on this?
Good night, Tiana. Sure. For Kyle to have an effective introduction for his paper, it should have 3 parts. In part 1, Kyle should begin broadly, stating the background information. An example of this is: education plays a significant role in national development by preparing citizens with the knowledge and skills needed for social and economical progress. Then transitioning into part 2, Kyle should connect his background information and main points, narrowing the discussion as follows. Across the Eastern Caribbean, governments gradually expand access to secondary education to ensure that all children can continue their education regardless of their social or economic background. Finally, in part 3, Kyle should present the thesis. This supports the main points and conclude the introduction. An example of this is: the shift towards universal secondary education in the Eastern Caribbean occurred because governments sought to uphold children's right to education, promote social equity, meeting international and educational commitments.
Now that we've heard from our other experts, I will demonstrate how to create a body paragraph using the TEASE strategy. Before we dive into it, TEASE stands for topic sentence, explanation, evidence, example, and summary. I will use our first topic sentence that we've seen today to create our body paragraph. Let's get right into it. And everything is color-coded so that it is easier for you to understand. So if you look at the screen, we would see that our topic sentence is: one major reason for the shift towards universal secondary education in the Eastern Caribbean was the need to uphold every child's fundamental right to education. E. Explanation. Governments recognize that education is a basic human right and that every child should have equal opportunities to attend secondary school, regardless of family income or background. E again, evidence. International agreements such as the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the Convention on the Rights of the Child emphasize that education should be accessible to all children. The final E, example. Many Eastern Caribbean governments removed barriers such as entrance examinations and expanded the number of secondary school places so more students could continue their education. And finally, S, summary. Therefore, protecting children's right to education became one of the strongest reasons for introducing universal secondary education throughout the Eastern Caribbean. Today's discussion has shown that a strong academic essay begins with a carefully planned formal topic to sentence outline. When the thesis, topic sentences, and supporting points are logically connected, the entire essay becomes better organized and communicates ideas more effectively. I would like to thank my fellow panel of experts for joining us today on the Academic Writing Clinic. A special thank you also goes out to Kyle for his letter. We hope that today's discussion helps you, Kyle, and other students prepare stronger outlines and essays in the future.